Hi everyone. So, I really wanted to jump into this and get to discussing. I think I mentioned in my half aimless, half deep video, that I'm bipolar. Uh, that's bipolar. Um, and I just want to talk more about my story. Probably I've been bipolar my entire life, like since childhood, which is kind of rare. The reason I think this is because a sign of bipolar in children is extreme tantrums. And definitely had some extreme tantrums, some extreme emotional reactions to some things here and there. I can't recall, but I know did. Um, Nobody in my family has ever been diagnosed with bipolar, even though there's a couple that probably are. So, growing up, I didn't know my emotions and my reactions were any different from anybody else. Um, so, I, high school, I think I was probably very depressed. Because I did get picked on for being overweight, even though I was an athlete. Then came college. I actually dropped out of high school a year early to go to college a year early. But I was a little sheltered, not a lot, but a little sheltered in high school. And then I got out of high school and went to college. Like I dropped out of high school before May, before the end of the semester. I guess it was like March. I dropped out March of 2003, and then in August of 2003, I started college for the first time. And all of a sudden, people wanted to hang out, and people wanted to drink, and people wanted to party, and I was just like, wow, and got into that, and basically got into that, hit a manic phase, and there was a couple bouts of depressive in there, but for the most part, I was manic until 2007. So primarily manic for 4 years, until November 24th, 2007. I'll always remember that day. It was 6 days before my birthday. My 22nd birthday, I believe. But because from fall 2003 to fall 2007, I had failed classes in college on and off. And in 2006, fall 2006, that was my first time at the school I'm at now, and I made 15 hours worth of Fs. I failed, I think it was 4 or 5 classes, just straight Fs, not a D, nothing, just a straight F, 15 hours worth. And I was admitted in on probation in the first place. So basically they kicked me out and were like, wait a year or raise your GPA, but either way we're not paying for it. And so I transferred to the school my mom had just started working at, which was in a new town. My parents had moved while I was at SFA, and so went to Stephenville, started failing classes my first semester there. I think I was making all Fs again. So in November, I had finally admitted to my parents on November 24th, 2007, that I was failing all my classes. Well, that caused a huge fight. Now, mind you, my parents just thought I was out of control. We had no idea about the bipolar. My parents just thought I was effing off. And, so, my parents and I got into a big fight. And, I ended up walking home from my mom's office to her house, which was about 3/4 of a mile. And on the way home, I was like, that's it. I'm going to kill myself. I'm absolutely tired of being a failure. I'm tired of screwing up. I'm tired of disappointing my parents. I'm tired of fighting with my parents, because I was getting into some fights with my parents. And I was just sick of everything. And so I had left my car at my parents' house, and I lived about a block away from them, in some apartments by myself. And I went into my parents' house, got my car keys, took my car over to my house, basically scribbled this quick little suicide note, went to my parents' house, put it on their door. I think I rang the doorbell, and then just ran to my car and went straight back to my apartment. Took all the pills. I didn't have a knife, I didn't have anything but kitchen knives. I didn't have a gun, and I'm not too good about blood, so wasn't gonna stab myself or cut myself or anything like that. Didn't have a gun, didn't have any rope, couldn't hang myself, so I just took all of the pills that were in my apartment, which wasn't a lot, and I don't think any of them would have killed me, but that was my goal. So I just started taking pills. I remember I was taking them in, all I could swallow was 4 at a time, because of the size of some of them, and so I was taking 4 at a time, and I had sat down at this little table, this little TV tray table that I had, and a folding camp chair, and I was sitting in it was an efficiency apartment, so my kitchen and living room and dining room are all one thing. And so I was sitting there in the middle of the one of 2 rooms in my apartment, just taking pills. And I forgot that my mom had a key to my apartment. And I hear my mom knock. I don't answer. I think I yelled, "Go away." I don't know. And so then she just comes on in. And I'm like, shit. So then I try to run to the bathroom and lock her out. But my apartment was very, very small, so I wasn't able to outrun her. Refused to let her take me to the ER, so that resulted in an ambulance trip. And once the ambulance got there, I was starting to regret what I had done. And I asked, well, can my mom take me? And they're like, well, we don't know, with the combination of medications that you took, we don't know if you'll crash on the way there, so no, we have to take you in the ambulance, which, if you've ever been in an ambulance, they're quite expensive afterwards. And so, anyways, got my stomach pumped, all that. Instead of being committed to a psychiatric hospital, my parents were allowed to take me home and monitor me, and so that's what they did. I slept on the couch in my parents' house because I didn't have a bed there. I'd taken my bed to my apartment. And one day I was on the internet at my parents' house while they were at work, and I was on the counseling website for the school. There was a self-assessment for a couple things: depression, which I had already been taking medications for, and I was like, well, that's not working, bipolar, and I think 1 or 2 other things. And so I took the bipolar one. I was like, well, for the hell of it, I'll take this bipolar assessment. And when I got done with all the questions, all it said was, you may want to talk to your doctor more about bipolar. And that's when I knew, yeah, if it's saying that, there's a really good chance that I'm bipolar. So I went to my doctor. They did a couple more questionnaires, and she was like, yeah, I think you are bipolar. Put me on Abilify, changed my Effexor to Cymbalta, and sent me on my way. And that did okay. It's, I wasn't suicidal anymore. My emotions were a little easier to manage. But after about a year, going towards a year of taking that, my mom finally approached me and said, you have to get off 1 or both of these medications. You're just becoming a zombie. You don't laugh, you don't smile, you don't cry, nothing. You're just a zombie now. And so I was at first I was like, at first I think I was a little angry, and I was like, how dare you? I'm not crazy anymore. How dare you tell me I'm a zombie now? Are you just not happy? Do you want me to go back to being crazy? Like, what's going on? And then I started thinking about it, and yeah, she was right. I couldn't remember the last time I made a joke, and I'm always making jokes, and couldn't remember the last time I just laughed my ass off, and or even cried. Even been so upset that I cried. Couldn't remember the last time. And, oh crap. And, so I went back, and at that point, that doctor had left to go start her own practice somewhere else in a different town. And so I transferred to another doctor at that clinic, and, he prescribed me, he stayed on the Cymbalta, and then switched to Geodone, and Geodone seemed to be going a lot better. I could laugh, I could cry, things were fine. But then early 2009, I started, probably before, probably late 2008, early 2009, I started getting into physical fights with my parents. And, I wanted to kick their ass. They would say, just clean your room, and I would start screaming, and then I'd go at them. And, I have to say, I absolutely love my parents. I would never want to hurt my parents. But just, I was so enraged for some reason that I couldn't figure out, to the point that I literally wanted to kick my parents' ass. And my parents were like, either you need to move out without our financial support, or you need to get some inpatient treatment. And at first I was like, well, I'm not going to an inpatient treatment. Then I started looking around and trying to find somewhere that didn't seem too much like an insane asylum. And then my mom found this place 2 hours away, up in Dallas. And I'm running out of time, but so I went, and they kept me on the Cymbalta and the Geodone, but they changed the doses, and added Ambien, because it would take me hours to fall asleep. Added Ativan, like I said, changed the Geodone dose. I think we kept the Cymbalta the same, and then added, and then so I tried that the first day, and but I was really sleepy, so they changed the time that I took some of these medications, and then added Wellbutrin in the morning with my Vyvanse. And all of a sudden it was like, it was like the heavens opened up all of a sudden. The next day I was like, I feel great. And ever since I got out of that hospital on June 1st, I believe, 2009, to this very day, I have been 100% stable. Not to say I haven't had a couple breakthrough episodes, well, at least that's what I call them, breakthrough episodes. Have had a couple of those where I've gotten a little depressed. When it comes to money, a lot of people don't know this, but money causes mania a lot of times, and it definitely does that for me. No questions asked. When I get a little extra dollar in my pocket, I want to blow it on the stupidest stuff. And so I'm going to stop this video here and make a part 2, and just keep going with my story. Alright.